y'all, if you are new to my channel, my name is Tay. I am a high performance business mentor and coach. I'm also a social media strategist and content creator, homeschooling mom. I wear many hats. If you're new here, please feel free to like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And today, instead of doing business mentorship or motherhood lifestyle, we're going to talk about women's health. This is something that you don't want to miss. So grab some tea, sit down, and get ready to focus on you.
Maybe you should fall, dance for rivers too. Cause when you're in love, it might a different view.
Hey y'all, so I wanted to make this video to talk about the importance of staying on top of your health, ensuring that you're getting the proper care, and doing whatever it is you need to do to get all the testings as possible, because you are going to run into providers where they say, oh, these symptoms or this feeling that you're feeling of being unwell, oh, it's normal, your labs are normal, maybe it's anxiety. Come to find out, it's not. And this is going to be tailored to women because I'm a woman and I can only speak from my own experiences, but a lot of these things can apply to men. And if I am specifically speaking on women's health and advocating for women in the medical fields, if you're a man watching this, you probably have a partner, girlfriend, wife, sister, mom, female best friend, cousin, whatever. There's a woman in your life that you can encourage and send this to, share this with, help her advocate, and so on. So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. I might need to break this up into 2 separate videos, but this is so heavy and this is so important. So let's get right into it. So as many people know, I do suffer with chronic health conditions. This is something that I've been experiencing with a label for about 4.5, 5 years. That's when I first got diagnosed with something, but I have had symptoms for close to 10 years, and they were very slow. And for a while, they were written off as anxiety or PTSD. And granted, I do have some of that as well, but I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong with me. I don't make that the foundation of my platform. I don't make that the foundation of me, because my health has taken so much from me. It has taken so much from me. And there's so much more to me than the health problems that I struggle with. I am intellectual, okay? I love being a mother. I love being active. I love teaching. I love having a business and being involved in business. And I love creating content, and I love creating groups, and I love being a sister and a friend and a mother, and a partner. I love all of those things so much that, like, making my health the only thing that defines me is something that I personally choose not to do. But behind closed doors, I do suffer with very chronic health conditions, which really plunged me and my entire household into this healing journey. And just like many women, especially women of color, but all women in general, there is an imbalance in the healthcare system. And I didn't make that up. I didn't make the rules. I'm not going to come here with statistics, but you look into it yourself. You do your own research. We don't always get heard. Not only do we not always get heard, but as women, we have so many different roles. Whether we are working mothers, there's just so many multifaceted aspects to women that sometimes it's hard for us to even identify our symptoms or realize something's wrong with us. And then when we do bring it to a primary care physician, we kind of get a generic panel of labs and we're told, your labs are fine, everything checks out. How's your stress? How's your anxiety? Like, are you experiencing anxiety? And while stress is a unaliver, stress is major for women's health, everyone's health, but women's health. A lot of times there's more and that gets overlooked. So you have to advocate very hard to get into specialists and so on, which is something that I did. That's how I started my journey. PCP wasn't working, so I dove into an oncologist. There were some findings there. Then the oncologist, I went to a rheumatologist, and a rheumatologist to a pulmonologist, and a GI doctor. Like, I've been everywhere, and I do keep up yearly with all of those providers, but we still couldn't figure out what was going on with me. Now, then my best friend I was at a chiropractor, and he had seen a sign for a holistic nurse. And long story short, I started my holistic journey. There are some horrible holistic doctors out there that are just trying to take your money. Same thing with regular providers. But long story short, through holistic care, I have been able to figure out what exactly is going on with me, and some of the things I'm experiencing is only visible on a cellular level, and your regular primary care physician doesn't always look at things on a cellular level. Like, the tests they order aren't always accurate with what you're experiencing. You know, if you don't fit in this certain box with your PCP or this specialist, then there's nothing else they can do, and that might not even be a personal attack onto you by your provider. That's just the system that they're in. That's just the medical knowledge that they're given. I know so many times I bring things up to my primary care physician, and she's like, I've never heard of that. Like, I went to medical school not that long ago. Like, she's young, and she looks it up and she's like, wow, like, you're right. So it's not always her fault. They're just taught one way, and there's more than one way, especially when it comes to health. So I'm going to make a recommendation, and mind you, disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm not telling you what to do. You don't have to listen to me. But I encourage you to go find a holistic provider. I want you to find a holistic provider that does thorough, in-depth Zytoscan testings. And you can look into what a Zytoscan is, but basically you put your hand on something like this, and they should get, what is it, like a 13-page report on which biomarkers of yours are imbalanced, which organ systems in your body are stressed and struggling, what pieces of your cells could be not fully developed or could have speckles, or you can see everything. Now, Zytoscans are not used to diagnose, give you a label, or treat you. Let me just put that out there. But once you dive into the holistic field, you will see how beneficial and useful that having a Zytoscan, it can just open so many doors for you and really help you get to the root cause of why you feel like how you feel. Because more often than not, in traditional medicine, they help you heal your symptoms, okay? They want to cut it out of you, they want to medicate you, and when your disease or illness is happening on a cellular level, you're going to have a high chance of reoccurrence, or just not being healed in general, because your cells are still sick and they are not healing the root cause. You need to heal the root cause. You also want to make sure that the holistic provider that you choose to go with is able to order blood work. Now, this blood work is normally done at a third-party lab like a Quest or a LabCorp. And I just want to give this example with my own personal experience. I just had a follow-up with my PCP and my rheumatologist over the beginning of summer. They ran certain labs. They saw some autoimmune things. They couldn't give me a real autoimmune diagnosis. My white cell count was a little high, but I didn't test positive for any of like infections or bacteria or Lyme or mold exposure, like none of that, okay? So my holistic doctor writes me an order to go to LabCorp and get some blood work done. And I'm gonna read some of the results right now. So don't mind me getting all up in the screen. I'm trying to read my laptop, which is right over here. I just want to put this side note of information out there. When regular providers, like your PCP, test for Lyme disease and certain conditions, I'm just going to use Lyme disease as an example. They only test for about 2 of the most common, most prominent Lyme diseases, but there's more. There's more types of Lyme disease, and I don't know like what I can say without getting into trouble, but you can be exposed to Lyme disease even if you've never had a tick, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So anyways, mind you, my rheumatologist, who is at the top of her field, she is highly recommended. I drove out of my way to her because she's that good, and I'm not saying that she's not good, but through all the thorough testings that she ran for me, she was like, yeah, you definitely have maybe some rheumatoid factors, and you have super high ANA, but we can't give you a diagnosis. So right now I'm looking at some of the stuff I have. From what my holistic doctor ordered, she's able to see the start of different types of lupus, different types of arthritis, heart blockages, rheumatoid arthritis. She's able to see connective tissue. She's able to see cancer. She is able to see pulmonary hypertension. She sees a different type of Lyme disease. So yeah, that's just liver disease. Mind you, I've gotten the scans because I've had the liver. They thought my liver was failing like 2 years ago, and I was diagnosed with cirrhosis, but that was a misdiagnosis because when they checked my liver again, it wasn't consistent with cirrhosis, and I was 28 at the time. So like, the math just wasn't mathing. But getting a thorough blood test shows that there is an imbalance with my thyroid. It just doesn't meet the marker that the hospital looks for. They also look for like different levels, if that makes sense. So yeah, so those are some of the things that are going on with me, and I would have never found that out if I did not seek holistic care. Okay, and now let's talk about the financial aspect of it. I know in this economy, just in general, it is hard to be able to afford holistic health. I am so blessed, and I will never deny that. I will never deny that. I have access to things that a lot of people do not have access to, and for that, I am so, so grateful. But my holistic provider, I was with her on a Zoom. She provided me with this. This is a Zytoscan that I'm able to do at home in the comfort of my home. We meet on Zoom. She's able to read it, share her screen with me, etc. She met with me from 9 a.m. and I got off at 11:50 something. Okay, so she was with me for like almost 3 hours. My first visit with her, she was with me for 5 hours. She was able to give me all of this information, okay, come up with a protocol for me, and it was $150. Insurance does not cover holistic health, but it was $150. So I try to put that into perspective. Even when I was at my brokest, I probably could have come up with $150 for just one visit to get this done. When I was at like my lowest of lows financially, I did smoke. I was a smoker. And I always used to say like I couldn't afford to do things like I'm doing now, but in retrospect, I could have cut down on how much I was smoking. Like, I'm not saying like quit, because that's also unrealistic unless the person really wants to, but I could have cut down on how much I was smoking, and it probably would have taken me a month or so, but I could have come up with an extra $150. It gets to the point where you have to prioritize certain things, and it's unfortunate that the society that we live in doesn't allow us or encourage us to prioritize our health. And then especially as women, we are empathetic. We are family beings naturally. We are soft. Our feminine energy is raging. And when we do have extra funds, we want to pour it into our kids, or make sure our spouse or partner is taken care of, or make sure that we are pouring into our house, or, just not putting ourselves first. And so after finances, that brings me into my next point. And again, I'm speaking from my own experience. After I came from like poverty levels, like DHS helping me with my rent and then cutting me off, and me being evicted and me not eating, I got into a better place financially, working 2 jobs, and I could have very much so afforded to pour into my health better than I did, but I put myself last. I made sure that my kids had new XYZ when it wasn't an absolute necessity before I poured in to my health. I made sure that my house was upkept before I made the time. So I would rather clean my house, do my chores, mop the floor, go grocery shopping, clean out the fridge, etc., than sit at an appointment for myself for 2 hours. Even women who have the money to pour into themselves, you feel like you don't have the time to pour into yourselves, or you prioritize other things or other family members before yourself. And while that is such a beautiful thing in its own way, it's really not. It's really not. And I'm saying this in the most loving way. I am a mother above anything. I am a lover girl above anything. But your kids and your partner are not more important than you. They're not. And I know for so many women, especially for me, that was hard to grapple with. What do you mean I need to put myself before my kids? What do you mean I need to put myself before my man? What? That doesn't make no sense. I had to quite literally move away, and my kids couldn't come with me right away. Yes, due to issues with the person I co-parent with being difficult, but I didn't let that stop me. I knew something was wrong with my health, and in the location that I was in originally, I could not take care of myself there. I had to move. I had to move somewhere where the cost of living was less expensive. I had to move somewhere where there was more opportunity for me to be healthy, where there was better resources. And that meant putting myself above my kids. And that's the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in my life. I had to take a minute after that because that still gets me very much so emotional. And people on my kids' other co-parent side, like those family members, still throw that in my face that I'm a horrible mother and a horrible person for putting myself and my healing and my needs first. But on that journey, I came up with the concept that I teach my clients, that I see that my mentor does, and that I see so many happy, successful, healthy people do. And that's service to God, service to yourself, and service to others, in that order. That order guarantees that you can holistically live in harmony. You can't, moms, you hear this all the time. You can't pour from an empty cup. How much are you going to give your kids if you're not emotionally okay? How much are you going to give your kids if you're not mentally okay? How much can you give your kids if you're not physically okay? Don't you want to be there for your kids when they're adults? Don't you want to see your grandchildren? Those are things I thought about at 26 when I left. And I knew that my kid's father was going to drag me through the mud to get my kids to come live with me in a different state full time. I'm not even gonna get into that, but I knew what I was up against, and I had to do it anyways. And there were times that I was like, maybe I should just leave and go back and wait until he gives me permit. No, I had to establish that boundary that in this season and every season going forward, we're not putting me last anymore. I am not going to suffer anymore. And I started prioritizing me in every area of my life. And that doesn't make me a bad mother. That doesn't make me a bad partner, a bad friend, a bad daughter, a bad sister. It makes me better. It makes me so much better. I would not be able to do what I'm able to do now. I wouldn't have the patience for my kids the way I do now. I would not have the capacity to take on and go through the health challenges and the physical challenges and the healing and the nervous regulation. And if I did not make the choice and stand 10 toes down, I'm putting myself first. And I'm going to tell you this right now, with love, it's not going to be easy. People are going to come for you. People in your life are going to come for you when you make the choice to put yourself first. As I was saying in another clip, I think to this day, my kid's father, especially, and his side of the family, his mother, his sister, his niece, his friends, to this day have made it very clear to me and have been very vocal to me that what I did was equivalent to like an abomination, to put myself first and to chase down my health issues, what they interpreted as putting that before my kids. Because I left even without full permission to bring my kids with me to a new state. I had to go visit my kids. My kids had to come visit me. They couldn't live here full time. But I knew in my spirit, in my soul, if I did not relocate as soon as possible, I would be unalived. And I couldn't grasp at the time if that would have been because of like myself, because I felt so sick, I was so depressed, or if my health condition, my undiagnosed health condition, would do something to me. Come to find out, it would have done something to me if I did not take action. And again, still to this day, like literally up until very much so recently, I get told that that doesn't matter, and I'm still a horrible person and a horrible mother. And how could I? How could I? How could I? I could, because I love myself and I love my kids that much. I love my kids that much that they deserve a healthy mom. They deserve a healthy mom. Your kids deserve a healthy mom. If you're a wife, your husband deserves a healthy wife. Your place of employment or your business deserves you to be healthy and performing at your best. Your friends and your circle and your family members deserve you to be the healthiest bestie, sister, daughter, cousin, auntie, grandma that you can be. And the only way you can do that for everybody else is if you start showing up for yourself today. And you start prioritizing your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, and your mental health. And your physical health, I'm sorry. But yeah, and it's gonna hurt really bad. It's gonna hurt really bad and make you question your decision of being selfish when people come for you. It's, oh gosh, if you're a mom, it is going to shake you to your core. It is going to hurt you so bad. It's going to make you feel really bad about yourself. How many times I almost gave up on my health journey and gave in to what everyone wanted me to do and just go back and suffer in silence? It took every ounce of strength I had in me to say no. Not only am I going to take care of myself, not only am I going to put myself first, but my kids will be here full time and God will handle y'all. I'm not going to get into that story or drama, but best believe a series of unfortunate events happened over there. Unfortunately, at the expense of my children, but they're happy, healthy, safe, and living their best life over here. So just let that testimony remind you that everything works out the way it's supposed to. And if you believe in God and you want a Bible verse and a perspective to carry you through the decision that you need to put yourself first, and no matter what happens, because you put yourself first, it will all work out for you in the end. Think of, what is it? I think it's Matthew 7:7. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be open to you. I take that very literally. I take that as permission to manifest things for myself. I can ask, I will receive. I seek, I will find. I knock, and it happens for me. But see how that requires me to do something? Is giving. God helps those who help themselves. Okay? So if you want this dream life, you have to take action. And a part of taking action is not just working yourself to the bone. Taking action is not putting yourself last. Taking action is putting yourself first. God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is going to support you along the way, because you showed that you are not to be messed with. You showed how much you value yourself. You show how much you trust the process and trust the journey. So it's going to be hard when you choose to put yourself first, but I need you to put yourself first anyways, okay? Now let's jump back into the financial aspect of it. What do you do after you get your Zyto scan? After you find out XYZ is going on with you, this is imbalance, that's imbalance, and there's a protocol that is also expensive. Unfortunately, holistic health is expensive. Herbs, supplements, certain detoxes, healthy foods, it's expensive. Find a holistic provider who is not money centered, which took me 3 tries to find. And she is open to help you and see you and help get you care at whatever financial level you're at. Again, I am very fortunate that I just tell her, anything you recommend, I'm going to buy, I'm going to do. I have great support in my life financially. I am able to also provide for myself financially. So these 2 incomes in this household, I can get whatever I need health-wise. But she always asks, this is what I would recommend for you. If we need to take things off and save it for at a later time, if we need to change the brand of what I'm trying to give you so that it's more affordable, if we need to extend, like the protocol I'm on, it's a year protocol. But if I was unable to afford everything in the way that she wants me to purchase everything, she said, we can just break this up into like a 2-year protocol and it's going to be half the price. If you need to get just one thing at a time and you need to do it for longer, like that's what we need to do. She let me know before I even sat down, before she knew my financial situation, before she knew anything about me. Do not let the money deter you from being here with me and pouring into your health. We are going to figure something out that suits your financial lifestyle. Another thing with that is getting the proper type of food and allergy testing. So full food testing panel. You know how many healthy things I thought I was eating that I'm intolerant to? I used to start my day every single morning when I started being more healthier with an organic bowl of blueberries, a whole carton every single day. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes twice a day. Come to find out, I am highly intolerant to blueberries. It causes terrible inflammation in my body. So I was eating blueberries. Come to find out that blueberries caused my body pain. I also have a high histamine intolerance. Histamines and I do not do well together. So I was having like oranges and peaches like every single day, and those have such high histamine, they were making me have all these symptoms. So you need to get that food testing done. Same thing with bananas. I have bananas all the time. I used to have bananas all the time. I'm highly intolerant to bananas. I will still have some plantains every now and again, but that's a different, I'm Caribbean, leave me alone. Anyways, making sure that you're on the proper diet is very helpful. Make sure you're eating as healthy as possible. It's very, very, very helpful. Like, it's such a overlooked thing, or like you know it but you don't realize like the impact that like what you consume plays such a heavy role. If you are not having like severe autoimmune or like blood disorders or cancer, you don't need to do all the things that I'm doing to keep myself healthy and rebalance my body back to the healthiest state. For a lot of people that I've spoken to who are also receiving holistic care, even like what my provider has told me, people change their diet. They take like 2 or 3 things that they may be deficient in until they build that back up in their system again through the foods that they're eating and the lifestyle that they live, and they're good. That's it. That's all. I also try to tell people that doing whatever you have to do to invest in you now will help you in the long run. I was just telling somebody, like, I'd rather invest all this into me now until waiting where that lupus spirals out of control, that connective tissue spirals out of control. I go into full-blown organ failure. Cancer takes over my body. Because those are all the things that are on its way to happening if I don't do something today. And I think all of that is going to cost more, or cost me my life, or cost my family distress and destroy my children. Like, I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to go down that route. Another thing, non-money related, you need to be ready to work. You need to be ready to put your all into your health. Faith without works is dead. You cannot just pray illness away. You cannot just pray. God is not going to just take it away. I'm not saying that miracles don't happen, because baby, they sure as well do. And I am a witness to miracles happening. But there's a reason that's put faith without works is dead, because you need to do some work too. God is not a magician in the sky, okay? God is the real highest version of yourself and you. You understand that? You understand that? You have the power to heal yourself. You have the power. You don't need to go and have hands laid on you every Sunday and think that that's going to be the end all be all. The same way that minister can lay hands on you, you can lay hands on yourself too. You can incorporate a healthy diet. You can go seek care when you start to not feel good. You can advocate for yourself and address the symptoms that you're feeling and speak up for yourself and say, this is not anxiety. This is not anxiety. The first time I went to the hospital, they put me on an anxiety medication. Now, I took a couple of those pills and I was like, I don't have anxiety to this capacity to like, that's why I can't breathe. I have signs of pulmonary hypertension, like I just said today. That's why I couldn't breathe. It wasn't anxiety. And I probably should have brought this last point up first. It does tie in with money, in a way. Ladies, stress. Stress is an unaliver. Stress is taking us out fast. Stress is weakening our immune system. Stress is destroying our nervous system. If you've been in a highly stressful environment, an abusive environment, if you've carried trauma for so long, some of your physical health problems could be from that stress. I know it's hard to cut toxic people off. I know I was in a life-threatening relationship. I know how hard it is to leave. I know how hard it is to walk away from friend groups and family members and jobs and careers and situations. And I'm only saying I know because I've been through it. I know. And it took a long time. But the type of relationships you have, the type of community you surround yourself with, what you tolerate from others is affecting your health more than you know. The partners that you choose to be with need to bring out the best in you. I'm not saying be perfect. I'm not saying you're not going to have stressful times in your relationship, because that's insane. That's unrealistic. You got to get to a point where you know, and I know, even when I was in the height of staying in a toxic relationship, I knew it wasn't good for me. Maybe I didn't know all that I do now, but I knew it wasn't good for me. If it's not good for you, you need to cut it off, because there's unavoidable life stresses. If you're a parent, you're going to be stressed over these kids. There's nothing you can really do about that. You have a job, you're going to be stressed about work and business and finances and what's going on in the world. Like, there's unavoidable stress. But you can control the people you surround yourself with. You can control the people that you sleep with. You can control the people that you maintain relationships in and decide and choose to grow with. Especially when you're picking a partner. You can't choose your family. You can kind of choose your kids, but you don't choose your kids. But you can choose your partner. You need to make sure that your partner is bringing out the absolute best in you and isn't just trying to have sex with you or stress you. Okay? Please evaluate your friendships and your relationships and your family situations and make adjustments as needed. That part is hard as hell too. That part is so hard. I still struggle with that to this day. I won't hold y'all. I am not in that perfect peace yet. Some things it's because people, that right now until justice is served for me in the physical world, I'm gonna have to co-parent with a narcissist who has caused me harm, continues to try to cause me harm, and is very toxic to me, my children, and allows his family to be that way towards me and re-trigger me and try to do whatever he can, and I can't undo that right now. I already made that choice. I already made that bed. I'm laying in it. I have kids. Like I said, that's a stress that I can't eradicate fully at this point in my life. But when it comes to friends that I have, when it comes to the partner that I choose to lay with, when it comes to what I allow going forward, I can choose that. I can choose that to try to buffer the amount of stress that comes onto me. Now that I know that stress is a huge unaliver for women, and as women, we take so much. And this stigma of, especially if you're a woman of color, you gotta be a strong, independent woman. F that. For real, there's nothing wrong with being strong, and there's nothing wrong with being independent, but to the point where it's slowly killing you, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. I do not want to be that. If I was single and open on the market, if a man says to me I want a strong, independent woman, my mom did every single thing for me, she didn't need no help, she didn't need no man, she didn't need no rest, and I want a woman just like that, stay that far away from me. Stay that far away from me, because I'm sorry your mama had to go through that. I'm not going to go through that. I'm not going to pick up that type of stress. If I get into a potential friend group and I go out with somebody and it's just stress and toxicity and unhealthy habits and unhealthy lifestyles and unhealthy mindset, stay that far away from me, because I'm not going to take that on. We have choices when it comes to stress. Choose wisely. And as I wrap this I know I was gonna like make this quick, and it's not quick, but it's so heavy and it's so deep. As I wrap this up, I just want to let you know that you are so worthy of feeling good. You are worthy of feeling good. It is your birthright to be healthy. It is your birthright to feel good. It's your birthright to be around people, places, and things that uplift you and soothe your spirit. You deserve the best. And yes, things are going to fall in your lap, and it's going to be such a blessing, and it's going to be a miracle. My girl, it's going to require some work on your end. You're going to need to advocate for yourself. You're going to need to make time and hold space for you the same way you make time and hold space for everybody else, including your household. It's going to be hard. And you're going to get upset, and you're going to cry, and you're going to question what you're doing and why you're doing it, and is it worth it? And should I be spending this type of money on myself? And am I really just crazy and having anxiety? I need you to keep going. I need you to lock in. I need you to lock in with yourself and refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And what you deserve is peace, love, prosperity, abundance, good health. That's what you deserve if you need that reminder. So if you can start anywhere, get up and go look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of feeling good. I am worthy of taking care of myself. I am worthy of finances. I am worthy of ease. I am worthy of luxury. I am worthy of receiving miracles. I am worthy of proper health care. Tell yourself that you're worthy until you believe it. Do it until you remember. Okay? Do it until you remember. That's biblical too, but I'm not going to start preaching like that today. But do it until you remember. Okay? And if you do need any help and you want help finding a holistic doctor, reading through reviews, I'll do the best I can to answer as many people as I can, as quickly as I can. I know my turnaround time on texting and DMs can be long sometimes, but that's because if I'm speaking to you, I'm trying to give you my all, and there's only so much of me that I can give, because remember, I put myself first. Okay, so if you can be like me in any way, so if you see me doing things and the things that I post and the things that I say that I got going on, and you want to be like me in any way, be like me like that, and don't wait as long as I did to start putting myself first, because now I'm trying to overcome things that are affecting my physical life greatly. And like I said, I don't put that out there very often because A, that's my personal business, and B, there's so much more to me than that I need to get out there and share with people. But behind closed doors, I shouldn't have waited. Please don't wait. Take your health seriously and do something today.
I'm forward, I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I go home. So am I wrong?